Fam, on today's show, we got Raj from Tigerstyle spitting out some real truths. Welcome all. I'm your host, DJ Reminisce. I'm Liwalu Thonu Pyar Pari, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Te Salam, and welcome to the show where I talk about things that are important to me. Hopefully you guys will like the same things too. On the show today, we got Raj from Tigerstyle. Tigerstyle is a household name in the Bhangra industry. On today's show, I got Raj from Tigerstyle talking about roots, culture, music, and he's going to give you newcomers some knowledge about the music industry. Trust me, fam, this conversation was epic. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. Guys, it's your boy DJ Reminisce, and you know what? I got a very special guest, and I'll tell you why this guest is special, because they're one of my favorite producers that ever came out of Europe. And I've been hounding these guys for like 3-4 years to try to get to talk to them on my show or my podcast or just speak to them. I was very fortunate that last year, I think it was, you guys came out for the conference, and we got in touch and we become kind of like cool friends. And he actually here on vacation, which is kind of rare for an artist, but he's here today talking to us about roots, music, and culture. Raj from Tigerstyle, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Owen. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, no, absolute pleasure. Let's get right into it, bro. I know you've probably answered this question many times, but I want to know the name Tigerstyle. And I'll tell you why I want to know is because when I first heard of Tigerstyle, it's like one of those names you're like what the, you know what I mean? It's got a powerful sort of notion to it. What was the rationale or the reasoning? How'd you come up with that?
It kind of all kind of happened by chance, to be honest. When we were kind of at uni, we got involved in DJing. Our kind of DJ roadshow name used to be Desi Bomb Squad, of all things.
Oh, that's crazy.
So we started off as Desi Bomb Squad, and there was a local guy, Subhash Pal, and he used to run kind of community radio station, and it wasn't like a permanent radio station that was on all the time. He would get like monthly kind of licenses to be able to broadcast. So on that radio station we had 2 shows. One that I used to do that was just more kind of just fun and playing hip hop and bit of R&B and stuff. And then there was another show that we used to do that was called Tigerstyle, that we used to play, myself and Pops, we used to do a 60-minute DJ mix, but it wouldn't have any Bhangra in it at all.
Oh, wow.
It would all be Asian underground and drum and bass.
Okay.
And the reason we'd called it Tigerstyle was because the ident to start the show, we'd sampled that famous Wu-Tang sample and put that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And then once we'd been DJing for a while and we started kind of messing around with a little bit of production, we prepared a demo tape, and we wanted to let Punjabi MC hear it.
Yep.
So we'd been promoting gigs by this point. Punjabi MC had come up and DJ'd for us at one of our events, and we handed him this tape, and on one side of the tape it had our production, on the other side it had this kind of 30 minutes of our radio show, and on it had written Tigerstyle. So he was like, is that going to be your production name, or are you going to keep this Desi Bomb Squad, because Tigerstyle sounds like a good name? And then from that point it just stuck. And then when we started thinking about it, like, we were huge fans of Wu-Tang to begin with, and then when we thought about what Tigerstyle is, in a form of martial arts, and thought about how that ties into our own kind of Sikh heritage,
yep,
of being a very martial kind of culture, and a warrior saint culture, the name kind of made sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, when you look at your logo, like, it breathes, and it's really cool because it breathes like your culture. It breathes like a hint of Sikhi in it too. Like, it's just genius the way you guys did it, right? And because that was the first thing I think that for me, like, attracted to the brand was that first hint of like, whoa, that's like, because it was a name. Yeah. And then you had the logo to match it. So, props to you guys for nailing that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when we first came into the scene in 1999, 2000, there weren't that many people that had created a logo to go with their name. They were just going by their stage name, but there wasn't an actual logo to go with it. So, yeah, I think, and I mean, Pop's coming from a background where he was studying architecture and then studying multimedia production. He was very into having a creative kind of design for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, the logo was definitely an important thing.
That's cool, man. I mean, so you kind of got, you know,
and we trademarked it as well. You know, like
Yeah.
we actually went out there and trademarked it and made sure that all the copyright end of things was right as well. Because our vision was always to do more than music and have, you know, a little bit of merchandising going on further down the line.
Are you hearing that, folks? That was a key there, which we'll touch upon in a second. You know, because I'm all about roots culture and branding and stuff, and this is why I've got you on the show, because there's a lot of takeaways that a lot of people can, you know, because yeah, the music's important, but there's other things part of the music that's vital as well. You know what I mean? So,
totally.
So now you get this Ashirvad from PMC saying, you know what, is this going to be your production name? You take off. Let's get into kind of like the first album, which for me was iconic. I mean, that album was like Pujjatan De Shakeen and like, you know, you had that other record with the Love Janju on there, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I have the vinyl. I couldn't find it because I'm moving because I want to get it signed.
Yeah.
But like, how did that get to that point? Like, was it like knocking on the doors? Like, what was the grind like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, when we first started out, I mean, we went down after meeting Punjabi MC. We went down to spend some time with him, so we spent a few days at his place in Coventry, and he kind of showed us how he was putting his stuff together. Obviously, at that time, it was a lot more kind of hardware based, and you know, software was slowly getting to the point where you could like have samples in there and stuff like that. So he had kind of showed us how he was doing things, and then he put us in touch with the guys at Kismet Records, Onkar, Jawanda. So he put us in touch with him and said, okay, go see him. He's got a bank of vocals that you could probably buy some vocals out of. So the next point was for us to go and see him, listen through his vocals, and then we picked like 10 vocals, and we kind of had an agreement in place, a contractual agreement that, you know, we would pay up front for 10 vocals.
Right.
We'd go and produce the album, but then when we gave him the album to release, he would reimburse us for whatever we paid for the vocals, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he signed, you know, we were young and we didn't actually know much about the industry.
Yeah.
So we kind of signed a 5-album contract with him.
Right. I think a lot of people did that.
Yeah, so we were young, we were excited. We thought, you know what, like, this is our first album, and straight away we're getting a deal to, you know, do 5 albums. And we took those vocals away, and for the first kind of couple of weeks, we sat there and used the vocals to figure out how to use the software.
Do you remember what you were running at the time?
We were running Acid.
Right, okay.
And Cubase.
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, it was chopping up the vocals and getting them to sit properly in time, and then trying to come up with beats that would work. And initially there was a whole version of the Rising album that didn't have any samples from like hip hop in it at all. It was all just like kind of percussion that Pops had played that I had recorded, and then there was, you know, beats that we had actually programmed over the top. And we initially let the label guys hear it, and they were like, your production's tight, but it's a little bit weird. So we were like,
what do you like?
Because the thing was, I mean, to be honest, like our approach was coming from listening to 90s hip hop, listening to drum and bass, techno, jungle, and reggae music. So like we were trying to produce beats that were like of that kind of flavor, over the top of like sampling percussion from like a Kuldeep Manik record or you know, a Surinder Shinda record, and then having Pops played like dole over the top of it or whatever, and just trying to put together really kind of conceptual production. Kind of like what
your production though, like production from the heart,
from the heart,
whatever that weird sound is. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, like whatever your sound is, like I don't consider it weird. It's different, but it's you. You understand what I'm saying? Like how many records you hear now? I mean, this is a side tangent, but how many records you hear now that I'm sure you can pick them out. Like I'm not here to name any names or blast anybody. You're like, that's not him. That's not him.
blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But when you hear a Tigerstyle record, you hear that soul from your guys' production, right? Which is a rarity.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, for us, it's always been like music should be a representation of our influences and, you know, us as people as well, you know.
For sure.
So
write that one down, kids. All right, so you smashed out your first 2 albums, and then you started getting into which I think is the market today is mixtapes.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that because in hip hop, mixtapes are, you know, they're selling on iTunes and stuff, and everyone's releasing club records on mixtapes now.
Yeah.
So then you started on this mixtape trend, which I think at that time was a really good time to do it because I mean, they were phenomenal, and it was still that sort of that DJ Wu Kid and DJ Clue were kind of doing it at the same time. So you know that must have been a different shift in.
Yeah, the whole thing with the mixtapes actually came about because after doing like the first 3 albums, so we did The Rising, Extended Play, and then Versa, and after doing those 3, we kind of came to a point where we were realizing that we were not in a very good situation in terms of our contract with the record label.
Okay. That's interesting how you say that. So how did you kind of figure that out?
What actually happened was that the guy that we originally signed with at Kismet Records, he closed down Kismet Records and moved to India.
Okay.
And opened Kiss and Tell Productions or whatever in India.
Okay. Yeah.
So he moved over there. Suki Chand used to work with him as well. Suki Chand actually did the mixing.
He is Kiss and Tell.
He did the mixing on our first album.
Yeah, he was the brain guy in Kiss and Tell.
So so us and Suki were left in a situation where we were owed money by this guy, and he just kind of shut up shop and shifted to India.
Okay.
And then the chaps at Movie Box kind of stepped in and said that, look, you know, we've bought over that company, so, you know, we're going to take over the kind of management of the rest of your albums that you've signed to this company. And it turned out that actually wasn't the reality of the situation, so we then pursued things legally to try and get out of that contract so that we could then become free agents and do things the way we wanted to do it.
Okay.
And while that was all going on legally, we obviously couldn't continue to release Tigerstyle material. So then we started pursuing a different kind of avenue because we thought if we can't release material in the Bhangra market, why don't we try and do remix work for Western artists? And just by pure fate, Miss Dynamite, who is an amazing artist.
Yeah, I remember her.
She happened to be playing a gig up in Glasgow, and we were at the gig, and one of our friends who was a DJ from London, he'd moved up to Glasgow to study at the SAE. His name was Jas the Vandal. Now he'd kind of been working with us a little bit on trying to learn production from us and coming along to some of our gigs and stuff like that. And he was at that gig with us, and he approached Miss Dynamite and was like, look, these guys do production. How can we maybe pitch some stuff to you? And just through that conversation, we then ended up speaking to her management, and we got into a conversation with this guy called Desmond, who was involved in her management at that time, and he got us introduced to certain labels like Greensleeves.
Yep, Greensleeves, yeah.
That started saying, like, here's a vocal from, you know, Vibes Cartel, see what you can do with it. So then we started getting vocals from Miss Dynamite, Vibes Cartel, and then we got into a situation where we actually got sent the vocal for a 50 Cent record.
Yep.
And then we produced all these up, and they were done as on-spec mixes. So it was like, you know, if the label likes it and they think it'll work with the single, then they'll put it on the single.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
If they don't, then it becomes like a white label mix.
Yep.
So then we had a whole bunch of white label mixes, and then we went back through our old catalogue and thought, you know, we've got all these vocals sitting here, some that we haven't used for the albums and some that we have. So let's create remixes of those, and let's create mixtapes so that we can kind of keep our name alive within the market and keep getting gigs while the whole legal thing's going on. Because you know as well as I do, if your name disappears from the kind of music scene for a bit too long, then you're pretty much back to square one.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Totally. And that's one thing I commend you guys for is whatever ordeals you've gone through, you've managed to still be consistent. You know?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's come from the fact that we made music our career,
Yeah.
you know, and our only kind of stream of income from a pretty young age. I mean, although we went through uni, we both have degrees, we didn't actually ever go out and get a job. We just, you know, the music was always keeping things going, and we were earning, so we always made that our main focus. And if that's what's going to make you money and that's how you're going to pay your bills, then you've got to constantly be thinking, how am I going to maintain my brand? How am I going to expand my brand? How am I going to get more gigs? How am I going to get more production? You know, so it becomes a necessity.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Because there's artists out there, you know, that we know that deserve to be heard, right? And there's artists out there that shouldn't be heard, unfortunately, right? But then, you know, you talk about maintaining that brand. Like, what are, like, I'm not saying you know, give your secrets away, but like, what are some things that, you know, if someone's watching right now saying, you know what, I'm struggling, you know, I released a record, nothing happened. Like, is there something that you can give them?
Analyze
Analyze
what you're doing and think about what is it that's causing you to fail. And I'll tell you this much, 90% of the time, it's because you're picking the wrong people to work with. You know, and 90% of the time it's because you're putting money into the wrong hands or putting your money into the wrong kind of area of your brand.
Right.
Like, you know, if you're not spending enough on production but then spending too much on videos, that's not really going to sell you as an artist, because people will look at your video and think, yeah, ठीक है, video चंगी है पर गाना ही नहीं है.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you spend a good amount of money on getting quality production, good lyrics, working with a good team to create a really good song, then making sure that you have a good video concept and a decent team behind the video, then, you know, like, your product has to be an all-round good quality product.
Yeah, I agree.
Before you release it on the market. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And you got to understand, like, what Raj is saying is not going to guarantee you success, right? But it puts you in a situation where you could possibly win.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of artists fail, is they'll go to India, you know, they're born and raised in Vancouver here. They'll go to India, sit on a Hero Honda and sing songs about the pind, which make absolutely no sense.
Makes no sense.
And I'm sorry, but Generation Y, our kids, they can smell that bullshit a mile away.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why Imran Khan is that big.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why Jay Sean did what he did. There's a reason why Tigerstyle is consistent in the market, right?
Yeah.
It's because, you know, it's about vibe, it's about culture, and it's about relatability. And, you know, part of that team building is you need to assess, you know, who's your target audience.
See, but like, yeah,
you know?
within the Punjabi market, right, there's kind of two sectors. Well, actually, there's three sectors. There's the older market, which is like the kind of family-orientated stuff.
Yep.
That like to go out and they like to watch stage shows of artists. And then there's like the kind of youngster market, but even that is kind of split into two. There's a youngster market that is desis that have come out of Punjab and are working in countries away from Punjab. And then there's desis that are in Punjab and born and brought up in countries out with Punjab that like the cool brand stuff. You know,
Yep.
The cool brand stuff reaches everyone that's of that kind of young age. If they're brought up in the US, Canada, Australia, UK, that cool stuff reaches all of them. The really pendu stuff only reaches like the pendu people in Punjab and the guys that are from Punjab that are working out with Punjab.
Yeah.
And the family stuff only really reaches that family market.
Yeah, for sure.
It plays in weddings, but it won't play in the clubs.
Yep.
You know? And the club scene is kind of taking a dip. Like, if you look at the way the club scene used to be for, like, Punjabi music over the past maybe 15 years, it's taken a huge dive.
Yeah.
You know? Like, really well-known regular nights have just, like, stopped happening.
Do you think that's because...
It's because the music's gone totally towards the wedding scene. The music has literally gone wedding.
So I guess the intention is what you're saying is artist A is like, he's going to the studio, his mindset is make a dance floor record.
Yeah.
Which is
these days, it's
bizarre,
not even I want to make a dance floor record, because a dance floor record is still a club record.
Right.
These days, the thing is, I want to make a wedding song.
Okay, fair enough. That's what
You know,
I'm saying.
ब्याह शादियां च बजना चाहिए. They're not even saying कि club च बजना चाहिए.
Yeah.
It's ब्याह शादियां च बजना चाहिए. Because literally, majority of the people that have entered the production kind of scene over the past 10 to 15 years have been wedding roadshows that are either a little bit interested in production and doing their own production, or buying ghost produced stuff so that they can market their roadshow.
Said a dirty word. Ghost production.
To be honest, it's been going on in the industry for a long time.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know, it is what it is, guys.
I mean, even Bollywood is doing it.
Of course, hip hop's doing it.
Hip hop's doing it. Bollywood's doing it.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, a good record is a good record.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? Yeah. You know, like it's that argument. Oh, this is ghost produced, so I'm not going to buy it. That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my life. All right, man. Let's talk about culture. Off the air, or when we talk all the time, we always talk about how UK's changed. And the reason I bring it up, I know predominantly, everyone's going for the India market, which I get it. It's all about roti pani and stuff like that. It's important. But how do you, revive that homegrown market again? Because at one time, UK was the definition of Bhangra music. You know what I mean?
I think the UK definitely still has. I mean, there's still certain people in the UK that are representing pretty hard. Jazz Dummy's out there representing hard. Zeus is out there representing hard. Yep. Ourselves, we're trying to do our thing. I mean, there's countless producers in the UK that do good work. True School's got a really strong camp of vocalists that he works with, and when it comes to that kind of 90s hip hop and folk influenced production, there's no one that kind of can touch him in terms of that kind of flavour. But I think a lot of it comes down to finding homegrown talent that is willing to, or that can see past their own ego and create a team that works well. Like if you look at Mickey Singh, for example, right?
Yep.
He seems to have a good team around him.
Yeah.
Because every time he comes out with a record, it's well thought out, and he has a consistent kind of sound. And I'm pretty sure he'd be a pleasure to work with. Yeah. But what we've found is, with some of the vocalists that we've come across that definitely have talent, they tend to put their money in the wrong place.
Okay.
They tend to think that working on a poor song that's not written very well, even though the vocal might be decent, working on a poor song with a good team will take them forward. Like they'll spend money working with X, Y, and Z producer to try and get a hit record, but that hit never happens.
Yeah.
Because they don't form a relationship with one producer and create something special. That's why Juggy D, Jay Sean, and Richie Rich did so well, because they had a team that worked well, and organically they made something that was special.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that's why our team with Bikram Singh initially, when we first started out, worked so well, because organically we created songs that were just, had come about through us being in the studio together and creating a vibe together, us having a friendship where we could, bounce ideas off each other. A lot of it comes down to the relationship that you have in the studio with somebody.
Yeah. It's a vibe, right?
Yeah. I mean, just thinking that, if I can go into a studio with X producer and pay him X amount of money and, I'll have an instant hit, that doesn't happen.
That, I agree with you, and that really bothers me, because Zeus is on top of his game right now, right? Yeah. We can all agree. And like I'm telling you guys, if you're a singer, that does not necessarily mean that your record with Zeus is going to be a vibe. You know what I mean? It's just like, like Dre won't produce every hip hop artist, and vice versa. Some artists won't, it comes down to vibe. Right?
What it comes down to is, artists sometimes they think that working with a certain producer of a high caliber will open a certain door for them.
Right.
But what opens doors stronger than working with a certain producer is having strong talent yourself. I mean, if you're gonna, like seriously, if your vocal's not up to par, and you think just by buying good production you can become a star, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you like the people that have done well and that have strong vocals and that are leading the market at this point in time have come from struggle where shitaran kakake, like they've built their voice. Like people like Master Salim, Ranjit Bawa, and like even like Diljit and all these like really talented singers, they've come through struggle where they've really honed their skills.
Yeah.
Through sitting with an ustad and like getting tappers here and there for not doing their riyaz properly.
Yeah.
That's why they have such a vocal, and that's why they're so talented, is because they put time and effort into it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, whatever craft you decide to do, whether it's production, whether it's singing, whether it's, being a session player, you got to learn. Right? Yeah. It's a learning process.
Yeah.
And, even today, like Prophecy, he still goes every Sunday when he's here to his ustad.
Yeah.
Right? People can, beg the question, does he really need to? Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Right? Because, it's like anything. You got to always, sharpen your sword, right?
You do.
It's the same thing with production. Like, we're production heads, so it's like the new plugin comes out or whatever it is. It's if it makes your mix better or whatever it is, your production better.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna try it out, right?
I mean, that's kind of like me summed up in a sentence, really. Like when I'm listening to production, a lot of the time from like Western artists, or like a new kind of flavor that's come about, I'm listening with that analytical kind of ear, trying to figure out which instrument is going to be able to create that sound and how I can go about it.
Yeah.
Like the same should be applicable to a vocalist. If they are hearing someone who's a really good vocalist and they want to know how that vocalist is able to sing to that, ability, then they need to find an ustad and learn how to sing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you 100%.
There's very few people on this earth that are just born with pure talent and that can just sing from birth.
Yeah, that's rare.
Yeah.
Like
that, the chap the other day, Vikram Singh, who won that competition, like he was saying himself, I'm a truck driver and I sing along to songs, and idda mera riyaz ho gaya, and that's how I've got my voice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at some point he would have had some sort of teaching, because you don't get that good just from singing along to songs.
Yeah, I mean,
he must have a basis somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's definitely important, having a basis. If you learn the basics and then you're able to practice, you will get good. Yep. But if you don't learn how to begin with, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, for sure, man. But then how do you because all you ever hear is like, Bhangra's dead. I don't believe it's dead. It's changed, definitely, for sure. I mean, they just don't make music for us anymore. I'd put me in my category. I'm not necessarily putting you in my category, but I'm saying they don't make Bhangra music for me anymore, per se, right? Yeah. But how do you you got the true schools that are, he's going to break the internet when the record comes out, in a week or whatever it is. But, like Manny Sandhu's killing it in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing your thing. I mean, how do you, is revival possible?
Revival is definitely possible. I think things have just changed. The market's changed. The way producers go about their business has changed. The whole scene's changed. I mean, like, put it this way: nobody releases albums anymore.
Yeah,
everything's about the single.
Yeah,
a lot of that comes down to the fact that labels don't want to have to invest such huge amounts of money in like 10 songs. And it also comes down to the fact that producers have come to realise that when we put out a 10-track album, people only pay attention to the 3 video songs and the rest just kind of gets lost.
Yeah. It's gone back to the vinyl days, man.
Yeah.
Singles.
Yeah, singles.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good that comes out of that as well, because like people are now able to focus budgets on single songs, and spend good amount of money and time on getting a really good, well-produced product and then showing it in a good way with a really kind of pristine video.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. I think like the diversification in terms of production across the board is good as well. I mean, we're seeing like dubstep production and dance production and really strong hip-hop production coming out of India as well these days. and the boys that are doing stuff over here in North America are doing it well as well. So
yeah, we're coming hard this year, man.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
It's good because, you know, I'll be honest, like North America's been asleep for ages. Like we've had all our imports exported.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nice to see that, you know, people, you know, it comes back to representation, right? What I talk about. People are, you know, like, you know, people like Deep Jundu, who's like, he's killing it right now. He reps Toronto. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when we're talking about the Juggy DJ Sean days, like they repped Southall.
Yeah.
You know, they had a shot, homegrown video shot. Like, you know, we're talking off air, like, you know, when's the last time you seen that in the UK where it was all done homegrown? And, you know, I was in England at the time, so I can't, you know, I was vibing to it. Yeah, the song was, you know, good, but it was like, you're just like watching yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I wear that, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, I know what he's saying. You understand what I'm saying? But I totally get it. You know, everyone's going India. That's the market.
They were representative of our reality.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
that's the thing. That's what's missing. I think that realism is kind of missing.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of the time the guys that you're seeing in videos driving flash cars or driving that, you know, that hired car for the day kind of thing, they're not representing a reality. You know, they're representing a kind of aspirational living. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I agree with you. Which they think is cool. And fair enough, that's cool to a certain extent.
Yeah, it has its place,
you know, but people can kind of see through that as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I've noticed, you know, the artists in the UK that are doing well, there's a true representation of themselves. Like you got True School, like so you got yourselves, like PMC, you know, had that, you know, Pichani Chaddi that came out, and like before that, there's nothing from the UK, nothing. He comes out with that, and he basically shut everybody up. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we're here, right? So you've got the firepower, right? It's just a matter of, you know, whatever the process is to, you know, get that back. I mean, it's just, I think it's just, I don't know what's going to trigger that, man, because it's a sound that it's missed, and it's a sound that Bhangra really needs, right? Because it's, you know, it's you know, it's historical, right?
Yeah, it's been the driving force for so long, and UK has been the kind of trendsetter for Bhangra for a long time. And true say, like they've not been stepping up to the mark, you know, for a long time. But I think that a lot of that comes down to the fact that there hasn't been a homegrown artist that's of that caliber for a long time,
right?
And the guys that were of that caliber have all focused on markets outside of the UK.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to get regular good quality gigs to play, you're not going to get regular work out of the UK, then you're going to look where the work is. You know, like people have actually moved over to Punjab or moved over to Mumbai, you know, because they realise that's where things are actually happening.
Yeah.
You know?
But that changes the game. See, I don't mind that, right? Because if you're living there, you're paying towards the economy there, right? You rep them. You know what I mean? What I have is like, you know, Joe Blow Buddy here from, you know, Surrey is like going out there pretending he's in the band. He does that one song or two songs, but he's like, you know, here working in a pizza factory.
I mean, there's definitely, you know what I mean? There's young guys that definitely have talent and definitely are representing. Yeah, so like most people will probably be aware of AK Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like some of the songs that he's like kind of introduced over the last few months have been pretty interesting. Like, you know, they had that Yaran Da Truck Baliye. They had that song that came out a little while back. The video was well shot.
Yeah.
The guy singing it was pretty
RS,
yeah, he was a good singer. Production was pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's like for a parody, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, if that song had actually been marketed towards the actual scene, I think it probably would have done pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's cool to see, like, I mean, they had that Genji track out recently, which was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's cool to see, like, these
straight
guys
trap, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're doing interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's not many people that are stepping up in that same way in the UK. You know, I'm not seeing, like, there's lots of YouTubers over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like, there's AK Amazing, there's Just Rain, there's Lily.
Yeah.
You know, there's yourself. And then there's like, but then where's the UK YouTuber? Like the Asian guy that's funny or whatever or is doing his thing.
Yeah.
And bringing like new and interesting people to the forefront.
Is it because, not that they don't care, is it because that culture's changed? Is there a shift? Like, it's one thing to, like, we were beat up into the culture. You know what I mean? Like, Gurdwara jana pehna. You know what I mean? That's how we were brought up.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for it. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be listening to Punjabi Bhangra music. Now I'm Punjabi bolni sigi, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, times have changed. Parenting has changed. Yeah. Right, like I got 2 daughters. I'm not gonna. You can't force your kids to do nothing now, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
see, I guess I don't think it's.
I guess how do you? Because I'll tell you what revival for me was that kept me in where I was. Because there's times and periods where like, oh man, Bhangra's done, right? But at the height of what my favorite era was, like it was Juggy DJ, Sean, B21. Kind of like it was still a little bit of band, then there's like boy bands come in. But at the same time, there's like Bend It Like Beckham.
Yeah.
A movie that totally related to me, right?
Yeah.
There was clothing,
right?
There's kebabs, right? You know what I mean? And there was young entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We had a culture that we could spend our money in and get something.
I mean, there still is an element of that. I mean, you've still got your like kind of sing street style. You've got him representing the UK. Like
he's dope.
He's dope. He's got a cool kind of concept for his clothing line that he represents, and him and the kind of Sikh models that he's working with, they represent strong brands. Like they're out there representing with like quality brands. Over here you've got like people like Varis Aluwalia, who's like definitely representing, and then there's Sikh models out there that are getting work. And even in the US, you've got people like Veerhood, Both Punjabi, B Coalition, Turban Inc.
Yeah, they're trying.
They're all out there. They're all trying to make something happen. But like a lot of the time, instead of our people thinking, do you know what? That's a brand that's come out of our culture, and we should try and support it.
Yeah,
they see it as cheesy.
Yeah,
and they janky won't buy it.
Like I'm repping Veerhood now.
Bro, they sent me a couple of t-shirts. I've been wearing them non-stop.
Yeah. It's not because I have to. It's because I want to.
Yeah, like Both Punjabi, like we met up with him last year when we were over in San Francisco. He gave us some stuff. When we went to the Brit Asia Awards and when we played gigs over in the US, I made a point of definitely wearing his stuff. Because at the end of the day, if we're not going to represent the brands that are coming out of our culture, then who is?
That is the $1 million question.
And
that's
think
why.
About it. Like
Rod, you're the only one who would ever say it. That's why I want you on the show.
Think about it.
It's real talk, right?
We've got people like Kanye West, who's obviously like a huge star. He's probably a bigger star than anybody in Bhangra will ever be, right? But he's obviously aligned himself with a sports brand, and he's got like sneakers,
right? That you can't even buy here. So where is that? Where's that level of entrepreneurship within our scene? Like everybody wants to be a Bhangra star, but nobody wants to be a brand, or like a strong brand, and take it as far as it will go, And that's where I have the problem, because no one wants to take that responsibility of putting the culture and be an influencer. Yeah. And that's what we need, man. Like it's like we can talk about the Nagar Kirtan all day, right? I go there, this and that. But, here is probably one of the biggest Nagar Kirtans in North America.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm not saying this is a responsibility of Gurdwara. That's what I'm saying. But there, you got 300,000 Punjabis. You can create mass influence of whatever it is. Good things like recycle, reduce. You know what I mean? I'm just using that as an example. Totally. If you got, like, Jazzy B's got it right, man. He's got his clothing line. Mad success to him. So he understands entrepreneurship. But imagine... someone like a Mickey Singh or whoever is hot right now, or Dr. Zeus, is out there repping,
I mean, put it this way, right? When there's a big mela that happens somewhere, which is a cultural gathering, that's where that fits in.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
That's the point where there should be, mass influence of that kind. Now, the issue that we have is that, we got all these different t-shirt brands, but rather than working together, they work against each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Competition.
And and they'll send free t-shirts to X, Y, and Z artists that they think can represent their brand. But what we don't have within the artists is that unity that's going to help to all push one brand in at one place at the same time in front of a big crowd of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, plus the other thing is, where are those big events that used to happen with the big lineups? Like, if you look at Melee now, right? You look at the lineup on a Melee, you'd rather have 50 small unknown acts than have 3 or 4 like big name acts come and perform, right? And even a lot of the time when a Melee books a big name act, they haggle them so much and they try and reduce the size of their show so much, you know? Like, a lot of the time, like, I mean, when we go out to DJ for a Melee, we have like certain packages, right?
Yep.
And ideally, what we want to do when we go out to a Melee is perform on stage, because you've got a concert stage, right?
Yep.
You've got a massive stage to fill,
Yep.
right? And for 2 guys DJing, that's not a show,
Yeah.
right? What we want to have on stage is we want to have dancers, we want to have goalies,
Yep.
we want to have us on stage, we want to have a beatboxer,
Yep.
you know, Big Taj from Glasgow, you know, who represents with us sometimes when we go out and perform.
Yeah, it's
we want to
entertainment.
have our visuals on the back,
Yeah.
you know? We don't want to just step on stage as 2 guys and just DJ.
Yeah.
Because that's not what our show is. That's not what our level is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or we want to come out as our live band and have our live band. But the guys behind the Melee are constantly going to say, okay, what if we leave the dancers out? What if we leave the dollies out? What if we don't, or we don't have the projections, or we don't have the LED screens on the stage? We don't have X, Y, and Z, or what can we get for the smallest budget possible?
Yeah.
They're not thinking of how can we present the best show to the people that are going to come into that event.
Yeah.
You know?
It's always been about quantity, not quality.
Think about this, right? We have millions of people that speak Punjabi. We have millions of people that are of this culture and that love this type of music, and yet there's not a single music festival that's dedicated to this type of music and all the different diverse styles that are within this music. Fair enough, you've got Melee that happen in cities across the UK, you've got Melee that happen across all the different countries across the world, but those are family orientated events.
Yeah.
Those aren't music lover orientated events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like over in the US, you've got Coachella, you've got like Burning Man Festival, you've got, you know, and in Europe you've got like big festivals that happen like Glastonbury and Wireless Festival and so on within the UK. But yet in any country across the world where there are Punjabis, there's not an actual music festival. There are cultural festivals in Melee, but there's not a music festival, which is like a 3-day thing that is just about music and nothing else.
I agree with
where
you.
they can represent all different aspects of that music. They can represent the hip hop flavors.
Yep.
They can represent like guys like Nuclear that are doing the more kind of cutting edge EDM flavor.
Yep.
They can have Bhangra artists on there. They can have Sufi singers on there, and represent the diverse kind of range of music that exists within our culture.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with you 100%. Man.
No one's done it yet. And why is that? I still can't get my head around it. You know?
I don't know.
Because I'll tell you why. It's because promoters, rather than all work together in a certain area to pool their resources and come up with one amazing event, would rather try and put on an event on the same weekend as somebody else's event so that they can steal their audience.
And then they kill themselves too at the same time.
And they kill themselves too.
Which they seem to forget somehow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
No, I agree with you 100%.
So this is the issue.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know?
What's your take on Bhangra right now, man? You liking it, vibing? You think it needs change?
I'm liking it. I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting things happening all over the world. You know, like it's an exciting time because you've got new fresh acts coming out of North America. You've got new fresh acts coming out of India. You've got established acts that are constantly pushing the boundaries and are starting to make ways into Bollywood. Things are exciting, you know.
Who's exciting you right now? Like if I go into your iPod right now or your whatever, like what are you rocking right now?
I mean, to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of DC music.
That's fine, whatever
You get
it
me?
is.
I listen to a lot of like kind of EDM stuff. I listen to Major Lazer. I listen to Yellow Claw. I listen to like Diplo's own stuff that he does separately from Major Lazer. I listen to Drake. I listen to a lot of like the kind of older hip hop artists that I've followed since the beginning.
My phone's all old school hip hop too.
But out of the Desi kind of scene, you know, like when Prophecy comes out with something new, I'm always interested to listen to what he's doing.
Yeah, me too.
You know? When Mickey Singh comes out with something new, I'm always interested to see.
It's a cool sound, man.
What kind of flavor he's coming with this time, which producer he's worked with.
Yeah.
You know, like Steel Bangles. I don't know if many people over in the US have heard of him, but like he's out of the UK. Amazing producer. He's worked with like loads of grime acts. I'm really interested to see what he does. You know that there's a female artist out of the UK, Sona Rayleigh.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, she's done stuff with Hollywood movies.
Oh.
Like I think she sang a song on that Cinderella movie.
Oh, cool!
That
I
came
didn't
out.
know that. That's cool.
So, like, I mean, I'm interested to see what she does and, you know, how her career develops. I'm interested to see how certain acts coming out of Punjab develop. You know, like Ranjit Bawa is like amazing. Like, we've enjoyed working with him. His voice is amazing. I'm interested to see how he grows as an artist. You know, Kulwinder Billa was great to work with as well.
Yeah.
Harbhajan Man, so much respect for him. Like, it's been a dream of ours to work with Harbhajan Man for a long time.
That's cool.
You know,
I got to work with him too.
We got
way
lucky to work with him. And he's just been a pleasure to work with. Jazz Dummy's been a pleasure to work with. I'm interested to see, you know, how things go with him as well.
He hustles, man. That guy.
Yeah.
Straight hustler, man.
Yeah.
Give him props.
And there's a lot of good music out there, but it's hard to find it amongst all the.
I know, man. As a music blogger, it's like I probably got 50 meals today, right?
Yeah.
You know, check this out. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually got more difficult to listen to music.
Yeah.
Because where do you start?
Yeah.
You know, you've got your tried, tested, true, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're probably your go-tos. But, you know, and I feel bad because there's so much music that should be played, people should know about. You just never get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where do you pick that from? So, let's talk about fatherhood, man. How, you know, you got two beautiful girls.
Yeah.
And how has that changed your perspective on, you know, how you produce, how Tigerstyle is, what you guys produce? Like, has any bearing, or you still?
Things have definitely changed since I got married, and then again since obviously I had kids. You know, like before I was married, if an artist would come over to work with us, we would just work whatever hours we wanted throughout the night, 7 days a week, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And we'd go out and just party while we were working, and you know, there was more partying than working, you know. But fair enough, that all added to the kind of creativeness of the situation. But once I got married, it was like, you know, you got to kind of formalize the way you work. So we work at 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and then once there's kids in the picture, then you got to think about, you know, the things that your kids want to do, you know, the kind of activities they want to be involved in, and you know, and then you also got to think about, you know, like how you as a parent are going to help them to interact with their culture and their religion, you know. So like we make a point of going to the Gurdwara, we make a point of trying to make sure that the kids learn Punjabi. So you know, these things are important.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's
and then also like, I mean, from the very beginning of our music career, we've been very conscious of the fact that we need to be very selective about the types of lyrics that we have in the songs.
Yeah,
you know,
I've noticed that.
We don't drink. We're not involved in that kind of scene, so we don't really do songs that are about, you know, drinking and that kind of thing, you know.
All right, man. Let's do. I do this kind of like a rapid fire round. So I'm gonna just fire some questions at you.
Okay.
First thing off the top of your head. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, sure.
First app you check every day.
Probably Snapchat.
Snapchat, yeah. That's not so bad. Ja or other?
Probably Barney.
Wow, that's good, man. Healthy. Favorite Desi dessert?
used to be gulab jamun and ice cream,
Yeah.
but the other day we went to Tasties and I had gajrela and ice cream.
That's not bad.
That was pretty awesome.
Tasty's pretty good.
Actually, yeah.
Folk, Sufi, or urban Desi music?
I would say Sufi.
Okay. Wow. That's
And
cool.
probably there's a couple of Pakistani artists.
Yeah.
You know, QB, she's awesome. Sanam Marvi, I'm really feeling her stuff at the moment as well.
Wow.
Really sick singers.
Cool, man. Fiction or non-fiction books?
Non-fiction.
Cool. What was the last one you read? You remember?
I'm actually reading a book called Sahib-e-Kamal by Lala Daulatrai, who's a historian. He's written a book about Guru Gobind Singh Ji.
Oh, cool, man.
So I'm reading that at the
I'll have to
moment.
look that up. That's awesome. If you could have, well, you don't drink cha, but if you could have Barney with someone who's passed away, who could it be?
Who? What do you mean in terms of
Like
an
a
artist?
cha, it doesn't matter. Anybody.
Yeah.
Idol or someone.
In terms of artist, I think Kuldeep Manik would probably be a pretty cool guy to sit and have a chat with.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you could sit down and have cha or Barney with someone alive right now, who would it be?
It's hard one to say, actually. It's quite a few.
Off the top of your head.
Probably be Timbaland.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I think that'd be an interesting thing.
I think we already talked about this, but again, what are you rocking on your iPod? You're into like old school hip hop, EDM.
I'm listening to a lot of Yellow Claw and
Cool.
and Major Lazer at the moment, to be honest.
That's pretty cool. If you could, if I gave you an unlimited budget,
Yeah.
video, production, whatever it is,
Yeah.
who would you want to work with today?
Unlimited budget.
Okay, within reason. Let's say 6 figures.
Let's see. Do you know what? I think what would be a pretty mad collabo would be something like Jazz Down Me, Kanika Kapoor, and possibly Mickey Singh
Yeah.
with, let's see, with us and Zeus
Yeah.
on production. And in terms of Western artists, stick Nicki Minaj on there.
Ooh, yeah.
And then get something like a Hype Williams video, and then you're laughing. You know what I mean? But I think,
that'd be
I
crazy.
think that's more than 6 figures.
That's all right, man.
That's probably like
Unlimited
a whole Bollywood movie budget.
That's crazy, though. That'd be hype, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Someone wants to get a hold of you guys, reach out to you, see what you guys are doing, what you guys are vibing on. What's the best place for these guys to get a hold of you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're on all the social networks, so you can get us facebook.com/Tigerstyle. So we're on Facebook, Tigerstyle. We're on YouTube, so if you search Tigerstyle, you'll find us. I'm on Snapchat, so it's Raj_Tigerstyle. Facebook, not Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is Raj_Tigerstyle. Pops is Tigerstyle Music. And then on Instagram, it's Pops_Tigerstyle, Raj_Tigerstyle. So yeah, you can pretty much find us.
Cool. Is there anything, anything cool you're working on that we can expect, the next 3 to 6 months?
We've got a track we're working on at the moment with Anmol Gagan Man. So that should hopefully be ready within a few months. We've also got a track with Raj Ranjod that we're working on. We've got tracks with Harbhajan Man that we're working on. And then there's tracks that we're working on with Jazz Down Me at the moment as well. So there's lots of cool stuff.
Cool, man. Last and but not least, it's one of my most important things to me is you guys give back. And I know, you do conferences, you do educational stuff, teach people how to mix. You opened your production basically session for us. So on that level, I commend you guys. I don't think enough artists do that.
Thank you.
The way you guys give back. There's going to be some people, some young Gen Y kids watching this, and they want to do what you guys have been able to do successfully. What words of advice or something you can give them that they can take back and immediately do something that they can, shift or change their mindset or whatever it could be.
Okay. I mean, if you're talking about production,
sure, music business, anything.
Yeah, I think learn the business end as much as you can.
Yeah, I agree with you there, man.
Learn the business end as much as you can, and be really straightforward and honest.
It's tough in an industry
because,
like this.
It's fair enough.
I know,
yeah, but do you know what it is? There's too many people out there that are just out to rob people.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those guys. Just be honest, be upfront with everybody that you're working with, and treat the artists that you work with like family.
Oh, cool! I like that. That's
because
good. Yeah.
like if you don't have that relationship with the people that you're working with, that you're going to earn your Dana Pani from, then you're not really going to get anywhere.
That's cool, man.
Be respectful to people, be honest with people, be upfront, treat people well, and really just focus on your skills. Make them, make them as tight as possible. Like go onto YouTube, watch lots of tutorials, learn how to make music properly, or find an ustad that can teach you all these things. Learn a basis at least in like rag vidya. Learn a basis, so that even if you're doing kind of more Western production, it's important to have a basis. So go out there and learn about scales and meters and all these different kind of facets of music. And if you're a singer, just find an ustad and really really practice.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, these are all legitimate things that I'm telling you, man. You follow this advice, and you've basically created a golden opportunity and a chance for you guys to win out there, man. So, big ups, man. I really appreciate it. This, for me personally, is a tick off one of my goals list to sit down with you and meet with you.
Thank you.
Because I followed you guys from day one, and I've been there. I've seen the battles you guys been through. Thank you. Big ups to you guys. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm hoping in a year, 2 years, next time we see each other, we can sit down again and kind of see what's going on. No worries. Appreciate it, bro.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Now, I told you that was going to be awesome, man. Raj from Tigerstyle absolutely killed it. I can't thank Tigerstyle enough to share whatever knowledge you know about the music industry. Trust me, I learned so much from him just sitting down with him for about an hour. And I'm pretty sure you guys learned a bunch of things too. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about the episode. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel that always up to date with latest Christian information. I'm your boy DJ Reminisce. Peace out.